Hello everyone, today I will discuss about a very important topic in image processing, and the topic is color image processing. So we'll discuss about the model of color image processing, and we will discuss about how to convert from RGB to CMY or RGB to HSI or HSI to RGB. So first of all, we need to know about the color model. So we know that in color image processing there are three type of color model. So the first type is RGB color model, and second is CMY color model, and third is HSI. So the meaning of RGB, here R refer to red, G refer to green, and B refer to blue. And similarly, C refer to cyan, and the cyan is a color that is the mixed color of green and blue. And M refer to magenta, and it also is a mixed color that is the mix of red and blue. And Y refers to yellow, and it also the mixed color of red and green. And finally, the final color model is HSI. Here H refer to hue, S refer to saturation, and I refer to intensity. So these three are the main color model in color image processing. So now if we see these colors like black, white, magenta, blue, red, and yellow, green, and cyan in a 3D or three-dimensional, then we can see the value of x, y, z. When is 0, 0, 0, then it refer to the color black, and when the value of x, y, z refer to 1, 1, 1, then it refer to the color white. And similarly, 1, 1, 0 is yellow, 0, 1, 0 is green, and 0, 1, 1 is cyan, and 1, 0, 0 is red, and 0, 0, 1 is blue. So thus you can represent all the colors in 3D, three dimension. So now we will discuss about the relation between RGB and CMY. So here we can see the equation or the relation between RGB and CMY. So CMY is equal to 1, 1, 1 in a matrix, and it's if we (111) minus the matrix RGB, and in the same way RGB is equal to 111 minus CMY, and the relation between RGB and HSI is H is equal to theta when B is less than or equal G, and when B is greater than G, then H is equal to 360 degree minus theta. So now we need to know about the value of theta. So how we can find the value of theta? So for this we will just use this equation, that means cos inverse half into R minus G plus R minus B divided by R minus G whole square plus R minus B into G minus B, and this value is also rooted by root square. And similarly the saturation equal to 1 minus 3 divided by R plus G plus B into the minimum value of RGB. That means the value that we will pass for converting to RGB to HSI. Here the minimum value of RGB will be counted, and that value will be multiplied with this part, and intensity I is equal to 1 by 3 into R plus G plus B. So now we have an example. So in this example we can see the value of RGB is given, and we need to convert this RGB to the HSI model. So at first we are normalized the value of RGB in the range 0 and 1, and for that we are just divided this value by 255, and for the value of R is come 0.113 and the value of G is 0.407, and it's definitely the normalized form, and the value of B is 0.843. So now we will find the value of theta. So using this equation we can easily find the value of theta. So here we will pass this number. For example, here we got the value of R is 0.113. so if we put this value in here and also the value of G and the value of B, and if we calculate this, then we will get the value of theta, and the value of theta, the final result of value of theta is equal to 143.6 degree. And if we see that what is the value of, what will be the value of H, so here we need to notice that the value of B and G, so it's R, it's G, and it's B. So here we can see the value of B is greater than the value of G, so it's satisfied the condition, the second condition. So here we can see the value of B, that means 215 is greater than 104. So that's why B is greater than G, and this reason we will select this option. That's why we are just subtracting the value of theta from 360 degree. So here we are doing this, and the result of H is come 260.4 degree, and this is the answer. And similarly for finding the saturation, S is equal to 1 minus 3 divided by R plus G plus B into the minimum of RGB. So here we can see that the value of R is 0.113 and the value of G is 0.407 and the value of B is 0.843, and among these value the minimum value is 0.113. That's why we are multiplying this value here. As we said that the equation was this: the saturation S is equal to 1 minus 3 divided by R plus G plus B and the minimum value of RGB. So thus we are getting the result, or we are getting the output of S, or saturation. Now we will find the value of I, or intensity. So the equation that we have, intensity I is equal to 1 by 3 into R plus G plus B. So similarly we are doing the same thing here. So we are giving 1 by 3 into 0.113 plus 0.407 plus 0.843, and the final output is 0.454, and this is the answer. So now we will discuss about another conversion, and this conversion is HSI to RGB. In this previous example we saw that we convert to RGB to the HSI, and now we are doing the same thing, but here the reverse way. So now we are convert HSI to RGB. So let's see. So here the first condition is if H is greater than or equal 0 and also less than or equal 120, then we will use these equations. And if or else if, that means if H is greater than or equal 120 and less than or equal 240, then we will use these equations. And if we notice that the value of H is greater than or equal to 240 or less than 360, then we use these equations. So the equations are R is equal to I into 1 plus S cos H divided by cos 60 minus H, and G is equal to 3I minus R plus B, and B is equal to I into 1 minus H. And here the similar equation almost similar, but not similar at all. So here H is equal to H minus 120 degrees and G is equal to I into 1 plus H S cos H divided by cos 60 minus H, and B is equal to 3I minus R plus G, and R is equal to I into 1 minus S, and H is equal to H minus 240. So when it's the value of H is greater than or equal to 40 or less than 360, then we'll use these equations, and here we can see that H is equal to S minus 240 and B is equal to I into 1 plus S cos H divided by cos 60 minus H, and R is equal to 3I minus B plus G, and G is equal to I into 1 minus S. So let's see the example according these equations. So now we need to convert HSI to RGB. So here we can see the value of H is given, and that is 260.4 degree, and the value of S is 0.752, and I is equal to 0.545. If you notice that these values are the similar values that we have got from the previous example. For example, here we got the value of theta is 143.6 degree. No, it's not similar. So it's another example. So here the value of H we got that 260.4 degree. So it's going to the range from 120 degree and get at 120 degree is H is less than, H is greater than or less than 120 degree, or H is less than 240 degree. So as to H value is 216.4 degree. So now we will use these equations. First of all, we are just minusing the value of H, we are minusing the value 120 from the value of H and putting the new value inside the H. So the new value of H is 96.4 degree, and similarly we are just using, we are getting the result of R is equal to I into 1 minus S. So here S value is 0.752 and I value is 0.545. If we do this calculation, then we will get the result of R is equal to 0.113. And similarly, when we try to get the output or result of G, then we will use these equations, and G is equal to I into 1 plus S cos H. So here the H will be 96.4 degree. It will not be the value of 260.4 degree, it will be 96.4 degree. And here the same thing, cos 60 minus H, here also the value of H will be 96.4 degrees. So if we calculate this, then we'll get 0.407. And finally, if we are finding the value of B is equal to 3I minus R plus G. So we know that we have already get the value of G and the value of R, and we already know that the value of I is equal to 0.454. So now if we put the value inside here, then we will get the output, and this is 0.842. Thus we can easily convert our HSI to RGB, and as well as we can convert the RGB to HSI using the previous equations. So thank you so much. See you in the next video.